Welcome to the All About You podcast. My name is Sheila and I am your host. In this podcast, I invite people to tell their stories of their travels, hobbies, and passions. These podcasts are also now available on my All About You YouTube channel. So if you have a story to tell, please contact me on allaboutyoupodcast@yahoo.com and let's tell your story. Welcome to the All About You podcast. And my guest today is Anna, and she's a tattoo artist. Now, I particularly wanted to do a podcast about the world of tattoo because I'm very interested in it, and I think the art is just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation with Anna. Many people have strong opinions about tattoos, but I wanted to speak to an artist about their craft. Anna, welcome to the All About You podcast.
Hello.
Anna, let's talk about you becoming a tattoo artist. How did it start? Were you always interested in art?
Well, when I was a kid, I was good at drawing, and all of the teachers I had in the past when I was in kindergarten, they were always telling to my dad and my mom that I should develop my talent. And when I was 12, they finally signed me up on a art school. And it's when I started to draw and get involved into art more professionally.
So, did you have a career plan as to what you wanted to do with your art?
Yes, I had always wanted to study art, and when I was able to, when the time came, I signed up in college for fine arts, and I have a degree on fine arts.
And what did you want to do with that degree? What was your sort of career plan?
I don't know. I always thought that I would be good at painting, I don't know, like the old masters, but it turned out that I'm better at drawing. So I specialized myself into illustration and drawing. Somehow I developed a style that was good for tattoos. At the beginning of this process, I thought I was going to be a book illustrator or something like that. But people kept telling me that this would look super good on tattoos, so they kind of planted the seed in my head. After a while, I decided that that's what I was going to do with my life.
So it's very interesting when somebody studies art, and there are many forms of art, what their plan is, what they want to do with that art. What was the process then of you've got your degree in art and then becoming a tattoo artist? What was the training like? So you had the art background, but actually becoming a tattoo artist and actually making the tattoos, how does that work?
Well, I had a friend that knew a tattoo shop, so I decided to go there and talk to her, and I did a course.
There are two things with tattoo. There is the actual art side, and then you've got how you actually give somebody a tattoo.
Yes.
My understanding is it's a needle with ink, and you are puncturing the skin so that the ink goes in and it remains permanent.
Yes.
And you're trying to keep the colours bright, because if you have a tattoo, in theory, it is for life. You want a good quality tattoo with good colours that's going to last a lifetime. So we talked a little bit about the technical side. Anna, when somebody comes to you for a tattoo, do they generally have an idea of what they want? They've got a photograph or a drawing. How does that process work?
So every tattoo artist has its way to work, but what I ask to people is pictures in general, some pictures that I can use as a reference. Sometimes I ask for real pictures of what they want, and I also ask for actual tattoos that they look kind of like what they want. Or There are other people that just come to the tattoo shop, and then I have my catalog of drawings or designs that I want to do, and they just pick whatever they want.
Anna, you can basically have any part of your body tattooed. I would assume if you are having a tattoo, let's say across the chest, that's going to be very different to maybe having one on your leg or your hand, because the skin is different on different parts of your body. In your leg, you've got muscle underneath. In your hands, your skin is actually quite thin. So I guess you have to know a lot about the human body, so you know how a tattoo is going to look on a certain part of the body.
I think the best place to get tattoos are the legs and the arms. They look pretty good for life there, and the tattoos are protected from constant rubbing of things. It's not the same if you would get something in your hands or your fingers, because you're always washing your hands and touching things, and also, well, that makes your skin to go faster. The skin in your hands is constantly renovating, so that makes your tattoos to fade pretty quickly too in a couple of years.
With a tattoo, then, Anna, the average tattoo may have 3 or 4 colours.
You can put whatever color you want. Nowadays, the tattoo industry is very developed, or the tattoo art, better say this way, it's very developed, and you can do very, very realistic tattoos with a lot of colors, and also in black and gray.
So you can mix the colours as well. So if somebody comes in with a picture, let's say of a flower, the flower is red, but they don't want red, they want a particular shade of pink, you could do that. So you could mix the inks to get the particular colour they want.
I'm not a big fan of mixing colors, because sometimes the compositions are different, and also if you have different brands of ink, they don't mix well together. So you have a really big range of colors in the market. So you just buy like different shades of pink, or different shades of blue, or different shades of gray. So I think it's better this way.
So, what's the number one tattoo people want? Is there something that they always want? That, I don't know, a picture of their girlfriend, or they want to have a name, or an inscription, or a mantra? What's sort of the top 3 things that people want to have as a tattoo?
I think names, dates, and infinites. I think
No,
these are the three most repeated elements, at least here in Valencia where I work. Also, during summer, we tattoo a lot of suns, waves, and palm trees.
right, okay. So when people come here on holiday,
Yeah.
they've been at the beach, think, right, that's what I want a tattoo for.
Yes.
With tattooing, it is something for life. So a lot of people are having the dates their children were born. Is there a particular sort of tattoo that you love to do and one you really don't want to do? Do you have any favourites?
I don't know. I don't have any problem on tattooing whatever thing. I rather tattooing designs that I create, but I actually enjoy the process of tattooing. So whatever I have to do, I enjoy it. But the things that I enjoy the most are my designs, which are fine line overall and a little bit of shading. Something that I don't like to do is big chunks of black. Like, I think that's a lot of labor, and sometimes it doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't like to do like big areas of solid black.
Let's talk at it from the other point of view now. So the person having a tattoo, in theory, is for life, although now you can have laser treatment to have it taken off. Let's still assume a tattoo is for life. Do you sit down with that person and sort of say, okay, you do realise this is for life? Is this absolutely what you want? Are you sure on the design, the size, the colours?
Well, in my experience, I don't have a lot of people getting tattoos that are kind of weird. So I don't have any problem on tattooing whatever people want. Nowadays, the tattoos are not for life. You can have a cover up or you can have laser done, but I only sit with people and talk to them and make them think a little bit more about what they want to get when it's weird stuff or boyfriend names. When, for example, I have a lot of young people coming with their boyfriends or girlfriends in order to get the main letter of the boyfriend name or the name. And in these cases, it's when I sit down with them and I say, okay, are you sure about this? Because you're very young, you don't know what's going to happen with your life. You don't know. You're
Yeah.
too young to know about love.
When somebody comes into you for a tattoo for their first time, let's talk about it. Is it painful having a tattoo? Should they take a couple of paracetamol before they have a tattoo?
Well, I think the pain tolerance is different in every person. Also, the same person can feel more pain one day, and the other day, the same person can be more sensitive to pain. There are also areas in your body that are more sensitive. So I think it's, I don't know how to respond to that actually, because it's very relative. But there are certain areas of the body that tend to be more painful, and these areas are the ribs and the butt cheeks. The ribs are very popular.
Why are the ribs so popular? I don't understand that.
I don't know, I think they look cute. Personally, I think tattoos on the ribs look very cute, and they are on a hidden area where you can show it if you want, or you can hide it if you want.
It's interesting you should say that because I was reading an article yesterday. In the UK, we have an airline called Virgin Atlantic, and they have announced for the first time that they are allowing their cabin crew to show their tattoos. Before, they had to be covered up with a long sleeve shirt or with makeup, etc. But now they're saying, no, we want our cabin crew to show their unique style, and it's absolutely fine to show your tattoo. I personally think that is huge.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a huge step forward. I would never have a tattoo. I don't think I've got the pain threshold for it. It's just not something I'm interested in. However, the art of the tattoo I think is absolutely phenomenal, and I have the greatest respect for artists. So although a tattoo isn't for me, when I read this article yesterday about Virgin Atlantic, I thought, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any difference in somebody you can see their tattoos? I'm sure it's a talking point for a lot of people. Why did you have that tattoo? Was it painful? How long have you had it? So I think that's a huge step forward. So Anna, let's talk about somebody is coming in to have a tattoo. Let's say they're having a flower. How long would it take you to do that? Let's imagine a small tattoo. Would it be an hour or 30 minutes?
It can be, depending on the tattoo artist experience, but nowadays something like a small flower can be done in 10 minutes if it's a really small thing.
Okay, so in theory, you could get through quite a few of those in a day, but
Yes.
obviously, you've got to prepare your work area, all your equipment, clean up afterwards,
Yeah.
all the client relations. What about some of these big tattoos? I mean, you often see people who've got the whole of their back as one particular image.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that would be done in many, many sessions.
Yeah, there are two ways to work. Sometimes you just set a price for a certain piece, I don't know, a small piece or a medium-sized piece, and then you just do this piece. You take the time you need, and then the client goes home. But for big tattoos that are full sleeve tattoos or full back tattoos, you do that per sessions, and the price is set for a session. Like you need 3 sessions, and I'm going to charge you certain amount for each session.
I mean, whenever I have seen programs about tattoos, I imagine it's quite hard work for the tattoo artist because the concentration, you cannot afford to make a mistake because you can't sort of rub it out and start again. So the concentration for you, obviously you've got to have a good rapport with the client, you've got to keep them calm, you've got to keep everything nice and relaxed. So the better that situation is, the better is going to be the result. What's the longest time you have spent working on a tattoo, actually creating a tattoo with somebody?
6 or 7 hours.
And presumably you would have to have breaks.
Yes, you have to have breaks.
So was that a tattoo that virtually took all day to do?
Yes.
I mean, I imagine you must have been absolutely exhausted.
Yes.
Because the level of concentration
Yeah.
is just incredible because you are often creating fine art. You start off, I guess, with the outline, proportion, and then the colour, and you can only work at a certain speed.
There's also a lot of physical work involved during the time you're doing a tattoo. Yeah. Because you have to stretch the skin, you have to be sitting down. Sometimes you're sitting down on weird positions in order to get to some places, and when you finish you're completely exhausted and your body is completely in pain because of the weird positions and the strain you do to stretch the skin, because in order to do proper lines and in order to inject the ink properly into the skin, you need to stretch the skin on the body.
Anna, let's imagine you've done a tattoo on the forearm of somebody, it's a small flower.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the tattoo. Now, we see people walking around and they seem to have a pad sellotaped to the arm. What's that? Is that for protection, for the ink?
Well, it's important to cover the tattoo the first 3 hours after you're finished with the piece, because it prevents from dripping all over the place blood and ink, and it also starts to heal, and it's in order to prevent bacteria and infections.
Because when you are tattooing, you are breaking the skin,
Yeah.
so there is going to be blood involved. Okay.
Yeah, it's a wound. I mean, sometimes we are not aware about that because we only see the art and the pretty drawing, but actually a tattoo, it's a wound. It's a superficial wound, but it's a wound.
The hygiene after the tattoo is incredibly important because the last thing you want is infection.
Yes.
You talked about people coming on holiday and they have tattoos and anchors. Are they allowed to go in the sea the day after they've had their tattoo?
No, it's not recommended to go to the beach because of the sun. The sun can damage the healing process. Also, the water is not clean, and also the sand can get stuck to the tattoo and create an infection. So it's not recommended to go to the beach after 15 days.
15 days? Wow, because as you say, it is a wound, it's got to heal.
Mm-hmm.
This is quite a long process, so a lot of people may spend a lot of time coming up with the perfect image they want. Then they have a consultation with you and you talk about the colour, the positioning, the scale, any other adjustments you think that might make it better for them. Then you've got the actual tattoo process, depending on the size of the tattoo, how long it's going to take. Then there's the aftercare, then there's the 15 days sort of healing process. This isn't really something you think about this morning and have it done this afternoon.
There's people like that. There's people that just walk on the streets and they see the tattoo shop and they just come in and they say, yeah, I want this. But somehow they actually know what they have to do after. So they are aware of the healing process. And
so, Anna, what do you think is the future of tattoos? Are they becoming more popular? Is it getting more popular with women than men? What's going on in the world of tattoo?
I think what you have said about building airlines is very important. I think nowadays a lot of young people is getting tattoos and it's more common. So I think big companies should start realizing that the fact that you have a tattoo doesn't mean you are a criminal or you are unprofessional. It's just art on your skin. So I'm very glad because of that.
I think that's a huge step forward.
Mm-hmm.
The art of tattoo, I think, is absolutely incredible. When you see, particularly some of the big pieces, I always want to say to somebody, okay, what does your tattoo mean? There's generally a story. People will often have a tattoo in memory of somebody or something, or in recognition of something, a particular date in their life. So I think a tattoo is incredibly personal, and most tattoos have a story. And I think that is what is fascinating. So for the person, there is a real meaning behind the tattoo, but also for the tattoo artist is really making sure you bring exactly the vision that person had in their mind. And I think that's a real skill, because something on paper is very different to having that on your back, your leg, your shoulder, your neck, wherever. It's a real skill. Anna, anything you want, any advice to anybody who's thinking about having a tattoo?
Make sure you go to a professional place. I think it's the most important thing. See, well, take a look to the artist art and how it heals, because sometimes things can go wrong during the healing process. Especially now in social media, everyone is posting the final first result, but they don't show the healing result. And you can see a lot of things that have gone wrong when the tattoo has healed. So I think it's very important to take a look and make sure that this person is comfortable showing healing tattoos.
And I'm sure as a tattoo artist, you would rather take the time, if somebody comes in with an image, talk to them about the image, give them your advice about the vision they have got. Maybe they go away and just think about everything you've said, then come back. They have thought about the advice you've given them. You know that they are now, you're both on the same page before you get them on the table and start working the magic. Yeah. Anna, it's been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for taking us into the world of a tattoo artist. Thank you, Anna.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please subscribe on whatever platform you are using. It is free, and if you would like to tell your story, please contact me on allaboutyoupodcast@yahoo.com and let's tell your story.